Hello, lifers. Here are your cards today from the Fairy Tale Oracle. Your first one is Goldilocks, Entitlement. So first she tasted the porridge of the great huge bear, and that was too hot for her, and she said a bad word about that. And then she tasted the porridge of the middle bear, and that was too cold for her, and she said a bad word about that too. And then she went to the porridge of the little small wee bear and tasted that, and that was neither too hot nor too cold, but just right. And she liked it so well that she ate it all up. But the naughty girl said a bad word about the little porridge pot, because it did not hold enough for her. In this relatively recent tale, a pretty golden-haired girl wanders into a home that belongs to a family. She eats their food, sits in their chairs, and sleeps in their beds, and she does it all with the greatest sense of entitlement. This card is about all of those who have a sense of entitlement and who make use of the families of others. The selfish one who wanders into private space and appraises it thoughtlessly. The one who takes over the territory of others without even considering the dangers of doing so. For Goldilocks, from the bear's perspective, is no pretty child, cute and sweet. She is an invader. She has carelessly entered their home, disrupted their sense of safety, and taken what she feels to be hers by right. And nothing she helps herself to belongs to her. This tale is so well loved and remembered, perhaps because of its use of three over and over. In this way, it alludes to the law of three, that whatsoever we do, we send out and receive back to the power of three. There are three bears. They each have their own personal belongings, and this spoiled little rich girl, who comes out of nowhere and leaves into the same, simply enters and takes. Goldilocks is not hungry or uncared for. She is simply looking for what is just right for her, and has no qualms experimenting with others' belongings before taking without thought what she believes to be hers by right. In her false security of being able to do this, she ultimately learns that this way of thinking and behaving is not safe, nor is it noble. The bears are strong and very family-oriented. They look out for each other and can be seen dancing in unison in this image. Does Goldilocks want what they have, this closeness and safety? It is then betrayed or trespassed upon. Goldilocks represents a sense of entitlement, and so it is with this card. Be aware that there is no real entitlement in this world, that what we have and treasure we have earned and deserve to protect. That to share we must be invited in, and growing up means not simply walking into other families and demanding we be cared for, as we were as children. Many times in life we will attempt to gain the symbols of belonging, of the new home and family, of being just right, but we must acquire those for ourselves. The bears within the tale show us what a real family is. Goldilocks is acting completely without thought for others. The bears are also symbols of the deep unconscious, and bear medicine is particularly strong and wild. The deep unconscious and primal world represented by the bears is being disrespected by Goldilocks, and this too impedes her journey to maturity. She cannot grow up without respect for our deep animalistic nature. The bear is associated so strongly with the goddesses Diana and Artemis, one a mother, one an independent guardian of the forest and of feminine power. Goldilocks longs for this growth, but she cannot grow in this way until she learns respect and to rightfully fear what she cannot understand. And her only way to understand what the bears are and what they have is through understanding her own self. When she does that, she will be reborn into wisdom, like the bear emerging from the hibernation stage, from the cave at winter. She will shine as she becomes the adult, the woman, the goddess. She is disrespecting the strength the power, and the sheer tenacity and endurance of the bear. The bear is the father, too, as in Odin, and the bear is the baby, the new life, the cub coming into the world. Bear is wisdom and respect, and this is what this card alerts you to. Where do you need to learn, to study, to respect, in order to grow past a young stage and into full maturity? The next card is Snow White and Rose Red. Sister love. The two children were so fond of one another that they always held each other by the hand when they went out together. And when Snow White said, "We will not leave each other," Rose Red answered, "Never so long as we live." And their mother would add, "What one has, she must share with the other." They often ran about the forest alone and gathered red berries, and no beast did them any harm, but came close to them trustfully. The little hare would eat a cabbage leaf out of their hands. The roe grazed by their side. The stag leapt merrily by them, and the birds sat still upon the boughs and sang at whatever they knew. No mishap overtook them. If they had stayed too late in the forest and night came on, they laid themselves down near one another upon the moss and slept until morning came, and their mother knew this and did not worry on their account. This beautiful tale is about sisterhood and family and the love and trust that people who have been raised well and nurtured tenderly can give. It is a testament to nature and to the trust that the sisters have between them. They are at home within nature. They are protected by nature's spirits. An angel stops them from falling over a precipice, and they have so much simple good fortune that they even take in a bear one cold night. They let him warm himself by the fire, and in time this bear becomes their friend. Of course, as is the way with fairy tales, the bear is not a bear, but an enchanted prince, and their trust and love for him is rewarded in the friendship he returns. For the reward is not just that their love breaks a curse, and his bear skin falls away, and he shows himself to be a prince. There is, of course, a marriage. Sorry, I just dropped a card in my trash can. I didn't want to forget it there. For the reward is not just that their love breaks a curse and his bearskin falls away and he shows himself to be a prince. There is, of course, a marriage and a happily ever after. It is that their family's circle of love and trust creates friendship, joy, warmth, and protection for all who enter it. Their family, which could have been quite bitter, for they are not rich, is small, close, and full of love. They have been taught to share everything, and they do so, and in that sharing greater goodness can be created. Thus, when this card comes to you, know that it is time to do good turns, to appreciate the small fortunes you have, to count blessings, and to know that whatever blessing you have, it can expand and grow richer, deeper, and more lasting when we place our attention upon the blessing. The sisters and the loving mother and their tiny cottage are beloved. Because of this energy they bring to everything. They are loving. Therefore, they are loved. So know that at this time it's important to appreciate what you have been gifted. Love the friendships and family who have been good to you, and find every gem in the dirt, every star in the darkness. Make this your habit, and the rewards will be peace, joy, and contentment. From these three things, so many more blessings can flow. The other aspect is that the sisters are dark and light, both good, but one quick and vivacious, the other shy, yet they share everything. One marries the bear prince, the other his brother, and they love each other dearly. So too with us. We must marry within us our dark and our light, not rejecting either, and by sharing both aspects of the self with the world in tender, honest, and vulnerable ways, we become strong, and abundance flows to us. What may appear to frighten others will be for you an opportunity to do good. Your generosity, your lack of fear, and your solid bonds with loved ones will give you all the strength you need, all the blessings you could ever wish for. And it's interesting, this card, maybe it's confirmation for me that I'm finally on the right track. I was walking to the little corner store this morning and my feet were killing me. But instead of concentrating on my feet, I thought about how good the walk felt to my legs. It was just invigorating this morning to do the walk if I could concentrate on what felt good instead of what was hurting. And it was cold. My fingers were freezing, but what I noted was that the wind felt so nice on my face that was tucked outside of the coat hood. You know, it really does affect our world and our experience of it, the way we choose to look at things. You know, I could have been bitching because I have to go to a tiny corner store because there's nothing bigger closer than 30 minutes away. But instead I was thinking how grateful I was for the family that's so dedicated to stocking the kinds of things that the community will need on a last-minute basis. So just a thought that goes with this card. And now the last one is Sleeping Beauty, Awakening. This is the one I dropped in the trash can, so I have to find the right page again. When the child is 16, she will prick her finger upon a spindle and die. The king and queen cried out and begged the fairy to forgive them and remove the curse, but the fairy refused to do so. But one fairy stepped forward and said, I cannot undo this curse, but I can alter its course. Beauty shall not die when she touches the spindle, but she will fall into a deep sleep for 100 years. It is right that in this tale the family of Sleeping Beauty decide they will fall into the same enchanted sleep along with their daughter, a princess who is cursed by a fairy with a grudge. When the Princess Aurora is born, her parents invite the chief magical beings of the kingdom to offer them all a rare gift. They are genuinely overjoyed at the birth of this child, who had been longed for far before she was born. But there is one fairy they do not invite. And in some versions of the tale this is deliberate. In others it is an oversight. In others still the reason is they have not enough wealth to share with the being now known as Maleficent. While the offended fairy's payback to the family's slight is to curse Aurora to die when she pricks her finger upon a needle from a spinning wheel, a late arriving fairy can soften the blow with her blessing that Aurora will simply fall into a deep sleep, which she can only be awakened from by the kiss of a lover whose heart is true. Instead of raising Aurora with this knowledge, the family endanger her even more by keeping the prophecy from her. And it is this ignorance that most endangers her and which gives the curse its opportunity to take hold. When this card comes to you, you will learn that someone has tried to protect you from a harsh truth by keeping information that is vital from you. There is no escape from the dilemma you inherited, but you will be able, in time, to find a way through the challenge, and you will not be alone, and you will never be abandoned. You will be awakened to the truth, and when you wake up, so will all others around you who wish to protect you, but in truth only made you more vulnerable. All right, those are your cards. If they resonate, I'd love to hear from you, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your time today in whatever time period you are, morning, noon, evening, way too freaking late to still be awake. All right, take care. Bye.